Right. It's that time of the week.
It's that
Friday.
time.
Freaky
It's
Friday.
been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, we say that every week. No, we're not going to say that. How you been?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Living
good.
life?
Living the life, you
Been
know.
working hard?
Back to training.
Nice.
Back to the gym.
What are you
back
doing
to
now,
running.
training-wise?
Still trying that sub 20. That's still happening. I've had patellofemoral pain, which I've seen physio, and I'm working out. I'm on the back end of that now, so that's nice.
Nice.
And then I'm also trying to do a bit of speed work alongside as well, because we're getting to that time of year. It's fast approaching.
Sevens.
No,
No, that'd be good. Are you doing any more gym work, or is it more just foot on the ground kind of stuff?
yeah, I'm doing like low level sprint mechanics, making sure I'm hitting the floor well and right before I start going out on field. It's going to be interesting because I've not opened up like max velocity wise in a year, almost a year. So that's going to be interesting. Because I've just been like doing 5K as like a shorter distance. So it'll be interesting.
More aerobic stuff.
Yeah, I've not like max out sprint in.
Might be quicker.
Very doubtful, very doubtful. But the plan this year is to hit a PB for max velocity.
That'd be
That
good.
is like, it just feels like a long time since I trained
So
properly.
you want to get sub 20 on your 5K and you want to hit a new max velocity.
Yeah,
PB.
big year, because I've not, I'm 27, I'm not getting younger.
No.
I'm in my prime.
No, I did think you looked a bit older today, mate.
That's just the haircut, apparently. Apparently I look older with my hair like this, so
Might be the tash.
might be the chinash. Yeah, lots of goals this year.
Sounds good. And are you doing any gym work or? Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not the main focus, but it's more like speed-based stuff for the sprint stuff.
Velocity kind of stuff. Like
Velocity.
Speed of bar.
Yeah, sled sprint, speed of bar. Did some like heavy but fast hip thrusts today.
I don't want to know. Anyway, back to the podcast topic.
The matter at hand.
So, what should we talk about today?
You want to talk about meat eaters? Well, meat eaters, carnivores.
I don't know why I said that, because I already know what I want to talk
I know,
about
yeah,
today.
I was like,
Set that
it's
up.
your topic, mate.
No, I think today I want to talk about the carnivore diet. And that is particularly because it's like, I've been trying to stay off social media for the last sort of couple of months whilst I'm working on a few things for my business. But every time I go back on it, something's popping up about carnivore diet.
I've seen it a lot recently.
Have you?
So it's not just your world, it's mine.
Good. I thought I'd suddenly like got myself into like this little algorithm where now all it's doing is feeding me this fucking carnivore diet. But no, I want to touch on it from two different perspectives. Like, there is obviously the health side of things, but then also we are a podcast about athletic performance. So I then want to talk about it from an athletic performance standpoint. But essentially, what's your, like, obviously it's called the carnivore diet. Don't want you to teach you to suck eggs, but like, what do you think that entails?
To my knowledge, it's kind of like the keto diet, but it's just meat. Is that right? Or is it? Just meat.
See, that's also part of the reason, the issue with calling it a carnivore diet is when people hear carnivore diet and don't necessarily do any sort of research into it, they just think it's just eating meat. Or some people then say, well, it's only eating red meat. So the carnivore diet is that you're eating essentially all just animal products. So it's like the opposite to a vegan. So you can eat eggs and you can eat dairy as long as it's like full fat, and obviously making sure, I think milk's okay as long as you're not having too much of it.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's obviously making sure you're reducing how much lactose you're having. So I think it's like a tiny amount of milk, but you can have hard cheese and stuff like that because there's not much carbohydrate in it. But yeah, you're pretty much there with the keto kind of thing.
Yeah.
Except these guys don't even have any vegetables. So I want...
Fucking smelly farts then.
It's not just that, mate, but there's a reason why it makes you fart smelly. So, you know, their side of things, or their argument for it being beneficial, is that it has positive effect on your mental health. It has a positive effect on your sort of alertness and awakeness. You don't have sleepy slumps in the afternoon. You feel like increased energy throughout the day, so like upon waking. So all sounds really, really positive.
I was going to say, you sold.
Sounds great. Also reduced muscle sort of soreness after training. Now, there's multiple reasons why they're feeling like this, and I'll touch into that, and also then how you can achieve that through just a normal diet. And then we'll also talk about like the negative side of things with it. But they're feeling those things. They're feeling that increased energy, no slumps in the afternoon, because they are essentially cutting out all the shit from their diet, which they should do on a healthy diet anyway. You know, they've gone from eating crisps, eating chocolate bars, eating sweets, to this suddenly really strict, restrictive diet where they've cut out all the confectionery, all the, you know, sugary food, sweets, beverages, or eating, you know, really refined carbohydrates like your white bread, which typically how they act, that sort of fast acting sugar, which we've touched on in the carbohydrate episode, so go back if you haven't listened to that. But the way they're digested by the body is they massively spike your sugar levels in your blood. So with that, you get a big spike in your sugar levels in your blood, which your body naturally tries to bring back down so that your sugar levels aren't high, because that could lead to diabetes if it's excessively high. And in doing that, because you spike it up so high, your body crashes it back down, and that's why you get that slump, because you feel knackered. But also that makes you then feel tired. That fluctuation in your blood sugar levels is what leads you to feeling tired, and by keeping your sugar levels nice and steady, which the carnivore diet does achieve because it's no carbohydrates in your diet, your sugar levels just stay nice and steady. So that's why they're feeling more alert. That's why they're not getting those PM slumps after meals. But also there's the fact that they say they're getting, you know, reduced muscle soreness after training. Can you guess why that is?
Because they're having high protein.
Because they're having a high protein diet. Literally everything is eggs, chicken, you know, it's all the meats, eggs, dairy, all high protein products. Some of them higher fat, so you're getting a good level amount of fat, which you need in your diet. But yeah, most of them are hitting, because they need the food because they're hungry, they're hitting like 2 grams per kilogram body weight, which is going to help you with your recovery. So, you know, there's that argument. Was there another factor? I think that covered it from like the benefit side of things. But in terms of the negative side effects, like we've discussed previously about fruit and vegetables. Like, why are they important? Come on, quick hit.
Phytochemicals.
Yeah.
So that prevents against illness.
Yeah.
Helps with recovery. Helps with brain function.
Yeah, a lot of those stuff does.
Helps the absorption of a lot of your macronutrients.
Yeah, but mostly fruit and vegetables, although they do contain some sugars, which we'll touch on again in a minute, but they're full of vitamins and minerals. That's like where you get the majority of your B vitamins from, and your C vitamins, or vitamin C even. You know, citrus fruits or blackberries, apples, you know, that is where you get your vitamin C, which prevents micronutrient deficiencies like scurvy and shit like that. But these people are just not having anything like that, and you know, some of them might counter that with, oh, I'm taking a daily multivitamin, but then you're completely like disregarding the fact that, well, your fruit and vegetables and your whole grains, which are, you know, carbohydrates, are where you get your fiber from. So these guys are having low fiber, and they say, well, I don't get any bloating, or you've probably got some undiagnosed IBS that you've just not addressed, and now you've eliminated all the foods that could potentially cause you any IBS, when instead all you should be doing is eliminating the food that is causing you to have that effect, not all the food, leading to micronutrient deficiencies, shit like that. But all that red meat, there's so many studies with red meat and meat in general without a high vegetable intake that it leads to increased risk of colon cancer, rectal cancer, stomach cancer. So all these people are going like, oh, I feel amazing. Well, give it 30 years when you've got colon cancer and you won't be feeling great. And what else was I going to say? I feel like I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but I feel like it's kind of needed to be said.
It is weird because, like you say, people do rave about it, and is that going back to that like short term like benefit of it without addressing the long term effects. Like people are so obsessed with getting short term results.
Yeah.
And you will, like you say, you will feel better because you're not getting those spikes and crashes in sugar levels and so on. So you will get a short term benefit from it, like less bloating and so on. But they don't think about the long term stuff because what about the right now?
Yeah, and it's working for them right now. There was also something else I was going to say. It was the mental state or the mental clarity they get from it, or increased protein, tryptophan, which is an amino acid. When you increase that through diet, does make you feel better. But you can achieve that with a high protein diet and still have all your vitamins and minerals through your fruit and vegetables, still have low glycemic index carbohydrates, so not refined bread, not refined pasta, not refined rice, and instead going for whole grain bread, whole grain rice. That'll do the same, pretty much the same thing to your energy levels as a carnivore diet would do, because you're absorbing that sugar, which your body breaks carbohydrates down into, but it's doing so at such a slow rate that your sugar levels are sort of just steady, and that won't give you the slumps that you're feeling. But again, it goes back to people are cutting out all the shit that they should cut out anyway because they're following a diet, when in fact, actually, you should just be following a healthy, balanced diet, which we've spoken about in previous episodes.
It's just another case of another fad diet, which...
Everyone just wants a shortcut, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, you do get the same with keto, the same with paleo. Any sort of low carbohydrate diet, you are going to see an immediate drop in your body weight. So people, especially that are trying to lose weight, go, oh, it's fantastic, I've lost X amount of weight in a short period, because again, they're looking for that short-term goal. But the only reason for that is you've cut out one massive major food group. You eat 3 food groups: protein, carbohydrates and fat. You've now cut out one whole food group. Of course you're going to lose weight. You're eating a third less than what you normally would. And also, lost my point. You might have to cut this out, mate.
That's fine.
But also, when you go on a low carbohydrate diet, your glycogen stores, which is your carbohydrate stores in your body, start to gradually deplete because your body starts to use other sources of fuel. Glycogen pairs 2 to 3 grams of water for every gram of glycogen. So your muscles, depending on how big you are as well, can store kilograms of glycogen in your body. Now, if you times that by 3, all of a sudden you've got, let's say your body can store 1.5 to 2 grams of glycogen. Kilograms of glycogen. Now you times that by 3, that's almost a stone, and all you've done is lost water weight and glycogen weight. So people go, oh, I've lost a stone in X amount of time. Well, great, but you've lost a lot of water. The actual fat loss that you've lost is probably negligible. But yeah, it's not great.
It's not great.
It's really not great. And I think my biggest concern is the fibre element, is people just completely disregard fibre because no one ever talks about fibre. But fibre is what keeps you going regularly to the toilet, and it decreases your risk of cardiovascular disease, which having a high meat diet, especially red meat, will increase your risk. So you've got an increased risk, and then you're on low fibre diet, which increases your risk further of heart disease, so that's stroke and having a heart attack. Also, you're seasoning all your meat with loads more salt, so you're going to be increasing your risk of a stroke and heart attack again. And you're increasing your risk of cancer because it's red meat and no vegetables to counter that. It's just compounding the fact for cancer all over your body. But people disregard that. But from an athletic point of view...
I was going to say the lack of carbs is probably not going to be good for training or recovery or anything.
Exactly. If you're an athlete, like the carnivore diet is like the last thing you should be doing. And because High Rocks, like we did an episode on High Rocks last week, that's all the rave. You know, CrossFit's been and gone in terms of people getting hyped up about it. You know, it went through that phase where everyone was doing a bit of CrossFit. now everyone's doing fucking high rocks. I bet you in 3 years, people will still be doing it, but it won't be to the extent that they are. Yeah. But people are doing carnivore diet or low carb diet, and they're doing high rocks. It's like
there's no continuity there.
We need high carbohydrates. If you're doing lots of aerobic exercise, you need a lot of carbohydrates, and in fact you should be carb loading before those events to make sure your glycogen levels are even higher, so that you're making those training adaptations from doing the actual, that's the whole point in training, is getting better. It's making those training adaptations so that when you come to event day, you're even better and you can store more glycogen and fuel and like exercise at a higher intensity for longer, which ultimately is things like high rocks.
Yeah.
Because they want to work really hard and beat the time. So it's literally carbohydrates would be your primary fuel source for that, but people are doing it on a low carb diet and wondering why they're knackered after. I just, Have I ranted enough?
I love it when you rant.
Yeah, I just go off on one. I don't even let you talk. Nah, is there anything else you think that we should talk about it? I've had my rant.
This is kind of along the same lines, but also kind of relevant as well, or irrelevant as well, is I've seen it a lot, like the carnivore diet is being in the media a lot more recently, and again, it's a fad thing, but I think, not that I ever thought that it was good by any means, but when you see people who have some sort of influence, whether that's a high following on Instagram or is massive, like a massive guy in the gym that says he's on a carnivore diet, don't take it as gospel. Like anything, seek out an actual professional in that field that knows what they're talking about, such as James, because ultimately, like, these people, they might be big, they might have loads of muscle, they might, have 100,000 followers or whatever, but they don't know anything about nutrition, or they don't know the long-term effects of it, or the short-term effects of it even.
It's like anything. Like, when you don't know anything, you think, shit, there's so much to know. Then when you know a little bit, you think you know everything about it. And then the more you dive into it, the more you realise, actually,
we don't know about it.
We don't know about it. But these sorts of influencers, they'll jump on something with no adequate training, and people will believe them because they shout the loudest. They make the best content. They make the most engaging content, which puts it out to more and more people, and then they get more followers, and it's just a compounding effect. Because if you see someone with 1 million followers, you go, oh, what they say must be gospel. Must be true. Yeah. When actually all they've done is shout the loudest, promote the most, post the most, because we all know that posting more frequently does it, and then you get a whole host of people just following something. And this is off the topic of carnivore diet, but carnivore diet has a large following. And again, it's that sort of echo chamber where people believe it's really good. There are positive effects of having a high protein diet, which the carnivore diet does sort of tick into. But by sort of bypassing all these fruit and vegetables and, whole grains, you're missing a massive important factor of your diet, because there's vitamins and minerals that you're not getting. You're not getting fiber. You're not getting free, antioxidants, which are going to reduce your risk of cancer. So they're almost tapping into a few benefits that diet has, and completely negating the benefits of all the other stuff, which are actually really important. And then again, like I was saying, with other fad diets, and we'll do fad diets on another topic, but people have an element of that diet which is really positive. I've seen another one, like this guy called Eddie. Have you seen him?
Ed.
Yeah.
So that's the guy who I was talking to you about before. That he doesn't necessarily have a carnivore diet, but he has a very
his way of marketing, because it is marketing, social media. His way of marketing is make a big shout about something, ridicule something or somewhere, and make extreme make extreme observations of somewhere. So for example, he'll go to, I saw his one at Greg's, and he walked in and went, see, everything in here is shit, everything is bad for you, But when he was saying everything, he was pointing at Yum Yums, donuts. Like, at the end of the day, those are treats, which we shouldn't be having. But ultimately, if you're going in there and you want a quick meal, you can get a whole grain loaf, so low GI carbohydrates, with chicken breast, with no seasoning, and you can get salad on top, which is obviously all your vitamins and minerals. So actually, that place does provide good, healthy food, but he's just niched onto this little thing to make a big. But what I was getting at with that kind of influencer is he's making out sugar to be awful. And yes, we should cut out refined carbohydrates, sugar-sweetened beverages. We shouldn't be eating sort of highly processed stuff. So I agree with him on that part, I do. However, victimizing sugar from a we should never touch it point of view, because there is always a time and a place. Those high sugary snacks, like fruit, for example, full of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, are perfect post-exercise or like in between events. But because he's shouting the loudest, people think that then applies to them. And they could be high-performance athletes that don't have any understanding of nutrition, and they're cutting out carbohydrates or sugars from their diet, when actually that's probably the best thing for them. Anyway, should we wrap it up there?
Probably, yeah.
We've ranted enough. I've ranted enough.
I enjoy listening to your rants.
Good. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode anyway. If you haven't already, give us a like or a subscribe. It goes a long way. Appreciate it. Right, see you next time.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
We can't not do that after 2 or 3 years of doing this.
I did rant a bit there, didn't I?
Yeah, it's funny though.